All right, welcome back to the channel. It's Derek Jensen here. And today we are gonna talk about the 5 Filipino cultural beliefs that might be keeping you poor, right? So this is a controversial video, but coming up with the idea for this video, I really had to just go through my notes and understand what I've assessed myself, to understand in myself, and try to understand what are the limiting beliefs that stalled my progress, right? So if you're ready, let's get started. Number 1 is Bahala na, or as it's come what may, or as we Filipinos call it, Bahala na, more commonly known as Bahala na. A lot of people, a lot of Filipinos fall into the trap of unfortunately being in a fatal position of leaving it all to fate instead of having a plan to secure that future moving forward. Unfortunately, what this does is it breeds a little bit of laziness, where instead of you thinking about what you can do to achieve the goal, you roll the dice with chance and fate to see what then comes out of it. So instead of just having that bahala na mindset, or having that bahala na phrase, come what may phrase, what you instead want to do is say something like bahala na basta may plano, which translates to come what may as long as we have a plan. Add a little bit of intention to it, then you trigger your brain to take the right action items to at least put together a plan to achieve that goal. Number 2, hindi importante ang pera basta't laging masaya, which translates to money's not important as long as we're happy. And again, the Filipinos are known to be very happy people, and there's nothing wrong with that. It goes down to really that, right? Like they can be happy on a day-to-day basis with or without money, which is great. Absolutely great. But what also that does is that it breeds the habit or the mindset of a bit of instant gratification, right? Because once you feel that high of being happy already, then you're not triggered to do something about it. The reality is that people move away from pain versus moving towards pleasure. So if you're constantly in a state of pleasure, then you won't be able to have that impetus to move forward. So having that balance of being happy, being fulfilled, but also wanting a little bit more, or making a plan for that future is what's gonna improve that mindset in order to be more secure for the future. Which leads me to what I would suggest you would say is that importanteng laging maging masaya, lalo na pag may ipong pera. Which translates to it's important to always be happy, especially if you got some money saved in the bank. Or somewhere if you got some money saved. All right, so it brings us to number 3. Kung para sa'yo, para sa'yo. If it's for you, it's for you. A lot of people rely on destiny instead of putting in a strategy and having effort. The thought that if it is for you, it'll just come to you can be true, but also having the additional effort of looking into what you can do to improve your chances will go a long way. Imagine if you're playing a game and then you just go into the game, you pick up your character, you start running, you start mashing buttons, you start trying to power through it. Instead of reading what the skills give you, reading what the equipment gives you, reading what the quest gives you, and then knowing which ones to do before, after, in order to get better results in the game, that's essentially what's happening. Right? So which leads me to what I would again suggest is adding that little bit extra tidbit of saying that kung para sa'yo, gawan mo ng paraan. Which translates to if it's for you, make a way. Right? And again, this would trigger your mind to at least be open to the opportunities that would help you achieve that goal that you want to achieve. Number 4, a saying that we always hear growing up is that money is the root of all evil. Pera ang ugat ng kasamaan. So it's often a misinterpreted line from the Bible. It truly says that it's the excess of spending, it's the overconsumption of things that's what is the root of evil, right? So not necessarily money. Money is what's used to overconsume, right? It could be different types of currencies or different types of ways of trading or putting value, but the overindulgence and then overconsumption and the mindless overspending of that resource is the root of evil, right? Especially if there's no need for it. Instead of believing that it's just money that's the root of evil, you might want to switch your mindset and adjust it and say that it's the overspending, overconsumption of the use of money, right? The use of money to overconsume and overspend is what's truly the root of evil, and that's what you want to avoid, right? Because just thinking that having money is the root of evil, we're conditioned to believe that, having it makes us greedy and evil. The way you manage and spend your money says more about you than even the amount of money you have, right? So by having a lot of money, but also being mindful about how you spend that, doesn't necessarily make you evil. You should not feel guilty about accumulating money. All right, number 5. So the last Filipino belief is holding me back is the belief that mga mayayaman lang ang nag-i-invest. Only the rich invest. So growing up, I was told about one of my uncles. The description of my uncle was he lived in a big house, a few cars, stays home, and he just watches his investments, trading, investing in stocks, and all of that. And for me back then, although it was a good goal to have, I was never told that although he was there now, he might have also started at a different place, right? So not having the full story, my thought of people investing is a totally different type of person. It wasn't me, right? So it felt so out of reach. I could not imagine myself being that type of person that it didn't even cross my mind to start investing until now that I've broke down all those mental barriers. A good way to look at it is, instead of thinking that only the rich can invest, you can say to yourself that regardless of how big or how small, investing early is key, right? So maliit man o malaki, lahat ng tao pwedeng mag-invest. You could start with $10, $15, $20, $50, $100 a month, whatever you can afford. But having time work for you and starting early and staying consistent and disciplined will do a lot more for you versus, just wasting your money, mindlessly spending your money. Right? So there you go, folks. Those are the 5 Filipino cultural beliefs that were holding me back from actually achieving more, right? So if you resonate with that, you agree, you don't agree, drop it in the comments below. Let me know. And if this video helped you out, or you know somebody else who it can help out, feel free to share it with them. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again on the next one. Ciao.